This is just a little short video intro into what this channel is about. It's sort of like a health journal diary type thing with some crafty bits thrown in. If you just want to see the craft stuff, then my main channel is Curious Stitches, which is linked down below. But yeah, this is more of a sort of place for myself as a disabled knitwear designer to sort of try and find a bit of community, because hidden illnesses are not talked about enough to make it not weird. I don't know. It's stressful. The situation for me is that I was ill for many years, and I finally got a diagnosis in October 2009 of fibromyalgia and ME and chronic fatigue syndrome. I had everything in all three areas. It put me in a wheelchair, nearly died from health complications that arose from it. I lost a lot of weight, and I ended up being 5 stone 10, so maths is not my strong point. Anyway, I was 3 stone underweight. So I also went blind for 18 months, and I was able to knit by touch, but I couldn't do anything complicated. And I have a rare vitamin A deficiency, so my body doesn't process vitamin A at all. I have to have injections twice a year. They hurt. They're big injections. To keep my sight. So I find that the nearer I am to needing my next injection, the more heavily I rely on wearing my glasses. So the way that looks is I had complete corneal corrosion or erosion. I can't remember the right word, but it was like I had frosting across my vision, and the optic nerve in both eyes had atrophy. I also have a thyroid issue, so I have to take thyroid medication. I am also under investigation for POTS. I have a dodgy heart. I have migraines. I have horrendous gastroenterology type issues, and I have to take medication each day, twice a day, so that I can eat, because otherwise I can't. And then I have to take medication to make that food stay down. I can't drink cold drinks. They literally bounce. I can only drink hot drinks. I can drink warm drinks, so if a cup of tea is sort of mouth temperature, I'm okay. But once it gets to lukewarm cool, no. The only exception to that is if I'm over hot, then I can take a couple of sips of water. I actually can't drink tap water. I can't cook with tap water. I can only use spring water, bottled water. The chemicals that they use in the water plants to clean the water shut down my digestive system. And it causes a lot of pain, a lot of issues. I can't stand up for too long because otherwise I faint. I can't stay in one position for too long, etc. I need to sort of keep shifting just little bits, position wise, etc. I need to constantly drink fluids. So I live, fluid wise, I live on really weak tea. So I'll have 1 tea bag in a litre of water. And I'll have 2 or 3 of those throughout the day. My food is very restricted as well. I have loads of food allergies as well as sensitivities. So even just like buying bread, for a while they thought I was celiac. Turns out I wasn't. I just had chronically damaged intestines, inflamed, don't know. I had a spell of I can't remember what it's called, but you get sort of pouches in your bowel and they bleed, and so I was able to reintroduce wheat again into my diet, which was great, but I have to be really careful with what's made with the bread, etc. 9 times out of 10 I will have a tortilla wrap instead. It's less bulky, but it's nice. I used to be completely vegan until it got to the point where I was denying myself nutrients that I needed to get. So instead of having vegan salad cream, I swapped back to regular salad cream for the egg. And I eat a bucket ton of carrots for vitamin A. And then I wasn't getting sufficient protein from my vegan diet because a lot of the vegan cheeses I can't eat, and there's only 2 brands of soy milk that I can tolerate. So I had to start eating chicken and turkey again, just small amounts, to sort of top up on the protein. My body doesn't tolerate red meat at all. It just shuts down, doesn't digest it. It comes out one way or the other. It doesn't like it. A lot of information. So yeah, I was diagnosed because I had my 3rd child, and before I'd had my 3rd child I was having lots of nausea issues, and I was getting weaker and weaker, and pain, and I was having all sorts of menstrual issues, and I had what they call hemorrhagia. So my cycle was 81 days with a 2-day break. 81 days, 2-day break. So I was very anemic, and I really wanted to have another child, and I didn't think I'd ever be able to, and I ended up sort of managing to get pregnant, and during the pregnancy I got so much better. It was almost like my symptoms went into remission. But then within 6 weeks of having her, I couldn't even lift her up. I was that ill. And it took 9 months to get a diagnosis. And that was sort of going to the doctor, and even my GP was sort of saying, what's wrong with your leg, sort of thing, and not noticing, because I was already had so many symptoms, you know, that I was sort of dragging a leg, or, you know, I couldn't hold things properly. And so yeah, so the only job I can do is something that I can do from home, that I'm in control of the timescale. You know, it has to be so flexible that I can have sort of a week where I am bedbound, and then I'll have a couple of good days, or I'll have, you know, sort of 5 bad hours, and then I'll have sort of 4 good hours, and then I'm bad again. So that's why I am a knitwear designer and occasional yarn dyer. I want to be doing yarn dyeing more sort of full time. It's heavy work and I absolutely love it, but I haven't been able to get enough I'd say that's quite what I mean to say. When I first started yarn dyeing years ago, it was going well, it was popular, and then I had a really big incident happen in my life and I just gave it all up. I started dyeing yarn again 4 or 5 years ago, and it started to pick up, and then my health dropped off, so I made the decision to quit. The amount of joy it brings me is unreal. There's no other job has ever brought me as much satisfaction as designing jumpers and dyeing yarn. And I have all the equipment, and I am building myself a dyeing studio again. So I have all the yarn, I have dyes, etc. I have all my equipment. Now it's just sort of, you know, painting walls and electric supplies and things like that. So yeah, that is my job, that is what I do, and by the end of this year, so you know, December 23, it'll be back being fully operational and full swing. But obviously there are costs involved, and I don't make much money at all doing the pattern design. And at the moment I'm not making any money on the yarn dyeing, but I would like to, so yeah. I will keep you guys updated on where I go from here. I really want this to be my job. I mean, it is the only thing I can do, and you know, the joy that it brings me is sort of bittersweet, because you know, I'm not popular and I'm not a big designer and I'm not a well-known brand. It's very much, you know, I spend hours doing all this stuff and then it's like nothing, you know. And I find that very frustrating and heartbreaking. But my hope is that one day it will actually, you know, be a sufficient income. You know, it would be nice to sort of be able to pay bills on time and have a small amount of savings, maybe. Not be completely dependent on those around me, which would be nice. Yeah. So, by all means, ask questions. I am fully happy to talk about anything health-wise, or you know, share my experiences, whatever. So yeah, this is a sort of a long introduction, but an introduction into this channel, and I hope you'll support me and help grow a community here, and let's be friends. I'll see you all soon.